Peace and blessings and namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and sorry for the MIA. I did warn you that I was going to be very busy during the later part of the week. So what you will realize is I'm going to be updating my website like these couple of days that I have some resting time, okay? And I'll be pushing out more videos during this time, and then you won't hear from me. And it's going to kind of be like that for the week until I get whatever it is I need to get balanced out, okay? I have been sore, okay? I've been dealing with some youths, and they, some kind of way, convinced me to play basketball. And everybody who knows me know I don't do basketball, okay? I'll cheerlead for you, I'll do all of that. But they was missing a player, okay? Now, I want you to understand that these are kids, 16, 17, 14. You know, the oldest may have been about 23, okay? I'm not in that age bracket, okay? I'm a grown woman right here, okay? So, there's a guy named Christian. Christian is the baddest, you know, that's out there, and I have to guard him, okay? So I realize I'm good at defense. Don't give me the ball. Don't give me the ball. Don't even pass me the ball. I will catch it with my face. That's just how that goes. So I got Christian. He's this muscular guy, but, you know, he's a little bit taller than me, but he's not, you know, everybody else is either way taller or shorter, so they're like, guard Christian, guard Christian. And these kids are cheering me on, and I'm over there like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I see on TV. I don't know what to do, you know, so I'm in front of him like this, and I'm like, where you going, 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 you know? And so he goes to dribble the ball or to do it between his legs and catch it on the other side of me. I go to block it. That man put me on skates. Next thing you know, I was sliding across the gym floor. Right? He's hollering, lay down. And then he goes and dunks the ball, and all of the kids are like, get out this ball. And I'm going, bring the stretcher. Okay, but that's what's been going on. So I have been enjoying my life, but I want to go ahead and update you on some things because I'm still getting downloads as we're going. I just don't have the time to really share them with you, okay? So this is what's going on, you know, during this time. Number one, we have got to start breaking some old patterns, okay, when we're dealing with emotions. All right. So I'm starting to notice while I'm out here in the world, you know, God has found it meet to put me in a completely different type of industry that I've never been in before, that I actually didn't think that I was qualified to do. And he said with me, you are, you know, you have the know-how, you know, you've lived this, you can handle this. And I'm going, okay, as long as you go with me. So every day that I go out here into the world, I have to bring my spirit team. Because I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to handle that? But I'm realizing that it's all preparatory for the bigger vision that I have, okay? And I need you to understand what dispensation of time that you are in. It's not a dispensation of time where you have to be qualified for everything anymore. No, you have to have the determination, the drive, the know-how, and that's all. And anything else that you might need help with, you surely can look it up and find it, okay? Or if you're really tapped in, then go ahead and tap in and get the assistance that you need. A lot of these ascended masters and angels and spirit guides and mentors and things like that are here to actually help you. This is a part of their karma clearing. And that's something that you don't understand, all right? You don't have to feel like you're walking this journey by yourself. You do have spirit teams with you, and they are assigned to you by God. Okay, now this is something that you have to pay attention to, because you'll hear some people say, I work with this person, I work with that person, I work with this, you know, and you may want to work with them, but they may not be assigned to you. It's all depending on what you are called to do here on this earth and your personality and what meshes well. God determines that, okay? So when you're being introduced to certain angelic beings or ancient ascended masters or some teachers from your bloodline, you're not all going to be assigned the exact same ones. It depends on your personality and what you are called to do. Now, when I was young, because I had such huge experiences with the supernatural, Okay, almost to the point. I mean, my family knows this. Anybody that's around me have known this. This is not something that I fabricate. Okay, this is not something that I make up. I don't need attention. Okay, I'm going to get it anyway. It's because I'm of the light. So any being that's of the light is going to get attention anyway. So you don't even have to worry about trying to pump yourself up. But I realized that when I was young, through all of my spiritual battles, my trainings, my things of that nature, the ability to see beyond the veil was for preparation for this day and age. There was a certain avenue that I always wanted to go down, okay? And I know this is going to sound weird to some of you, and maybe some of you actually have this drive too, but didn't know how to work it. I always wanted to be an exorcist, right? Go figure, right? I had an obsession with revelations. I had an obsession with angels. I had an obsession with demons. I had an obsession with God. So, I was being open to some of those things, and I used to see mental illness and I used to see spiritual illness, okay? And in the area that I'm working at now, I have to discern between the two, okay? I can tell when somebody is having a chemical imbalance and what the cause is, okay, and how to try to identify with that versus when somebody is being plagued spiritually and just need to be cleansed from that. Okay, and can go back to living a normal life. But chances are, with some of those, there was a door that was opened up in them and they can walk in. All right. Now, what does it take to become an exorcist? You have your modern classic way of what they're teaching you how to do, right? And that's the avenue that I took at first too. I was going through, casting things out in the name of Jesus and this, that, and the third. And it was, some of it was effective, some of it wasn't, at all. Some people will laugh at you, but that's what you see on TV. So that's what you think you're supposed to do. You're supposed to quote these Bible verses. You're supposed to demand, the demons to leave and this, that, and the third. I walked that for a while until I realized one thing. I'm Sophie. I don't have to demand anything. Okay, now I want to take you to, some things that you may or may not know. All right, most of us who have identified with being Christian or Catholic or any of, those major religions, that the one ascended master that can deal with any of these demons was Yeshua. So from the time I was born up into, adulthood, if I was ever plagued by a dark or negative spirit, I would always call on Jesus, okay? Now, despite whether or not what you want to believe about your religion or about that religion, there's one thing that you cannot fight or dispute, and that's the power in that name. It is. I don't care where you're from. I don't care if you're Indian, African, Mexican, and this, that, and the third. If you call on that name, you will get results. Okay, so that was my biggest fight, when I was venturing out into different religious systems and things like that, just learning why was this particular name so powerful. Okay, if he wasn't this, if he wasn't really the Son of God, if he wasn't, why is it that when I was growing up, if I ever felt fear, if I ever was getting attacked, if I ever had to fight, if I called on Jesus, it would disappear. Okay, so that's all I knew. But as I started developing, and expanding out and being sent different masters and different teachers because of my particular walk, okay? And God is the one that does this for you. So don't ever get discouraged if you don't have the same teachers as somebody else. It really depends on what you're called to do. And some of us need stronger help, okay? Or higher enforcements than others based off of the avenue that we are going. Not off of preferential treatment or being favorites, or things of that nature, but the avenue that you are on might be a little bit more dangerous than somebody else. And if that is the case, then you will get the stronger masters. I've come to the realization that even though Yeshua was the chief one that could cast out demons, he's not the only one, okay? So some of my ancestors had the ability to do that too. I could call on Shiva. I can call on Hathor. I can call on Gyanyin. I can call on Krishna. I can call on Tehuti. And of course, Jesus. Okay? So there's more than one ascended master that has the ability to deal with demons. All right. We just know of one because it's been the most effective, and the reason why is because we were in the Piscean age during that time. So since we were in the Piscean age during that time, Yeshua was representative of that age. But now that we are in the Aquarian age, some of the masters are more open to us now, okay? Especially those of us who have passed certain tests and understand how to balance out these things, our religion, our spirituality, and our science. Okay, if you get mastery over these realms and these understandings, more ascended masters will be open to you to help you with any vein that you want. Now, when I was young, that was the way that I wanted to do my, what we called it in the Christian church was deliverance ministry. Okay, what they called it in the Catholic churches was like exorcism. So I used to operate in the deliverance ministries. And so if somebody came up and they asked me to pray for them, and I touched them and I closed my eyes and I can see what's going on, I might attack that entity that was inside of that person and tell them that they can go. Or some of them just wouldn't get near me, okay? I want you to realize something. All of the stuff that you see on TV, with I cast you out in the name of Jesus, or let the body of Christ compels you, and all of that stuff, to some of us is not necessary at all. Some of you, your light automatically attracts them. You don't even have to go through all of that. I want you to consider in the New Testament, when that wild man was running up and knocking the crap out of everybody. I mean, whooping these disciples and everybody's behinds, okay? He was just bad. He was plagued with legion. And Yeshua is just walking, mind his business, and the guy comes and he's getting ready to attack him, but then he stops. And he says, "What are you doing here? Are you here to torment us before our time?" And then he pleaded with them to cast them out in a herd of pigs. Okay? But they already recognized who he was in the spiritual realm. They already knew to be submissive. They did not go to attack Yeshua. There's more than one ascended master that has that ability. And then I realized, guess what? Through all of my trials and tribulations, that has happened to me. And I was reminded of the times where there were people that was coming up and getting or wilding out to everybody and would get in front of me and act completely coherent. I'll give you an example of that. There's a lady named Patricia that everybody knew in this neighborhood. I mean, everybody knew her. She used to be a model. But when you see her walk up in the street, she's tall, she's slim, she's dark-skinned, she wears all of this nice clothes, but they never match, hats and this, that, and the third, just, like a child playing makeup. Okay? That's how she would look. But she would walk up and down the street and cussing herself out, talking to whatever she can see to the right or the left of us. And everybody left her alone because they were scared of her. Okay? She would walk past you, "Shut up. F you. You this, that, state." She used to be like really, really outrageous. And I remember one day I was sitting outside, right? I was outside of my business. And Miss Patricia was walking up the street. And I was with 3 grown men, And they was like, "Oh, my God, here come Miss Patricia. Let's just go in. Let's just go in. Come on in." And I was like, "No, I want to know who she is. I'm not going in." This woman, true story, right? For the Most High, I don't lie. Don't have to. So this woman starts walking up the street. I'm watching her cuss at herself, and I'm studying her, like very, very, very intently. What's going on? I'm watching. So she notices me now. And Lord, do you want to ever make eye contact with a crazy person? Most people will not, and you know better. So when she noticed me, I tried to avert my eyes. It was too late by then. It was too late. Here she comes. And she was walking. This woman stood in front of me. She lifted up her skirt, okay? She lifted up her skirt and proceeded to start rubbing herself, right in front of me and sticking her tongue out, like really disgusting, really, really nasty. And I'm like, whoa, I've never experienced that before. So there was a part of my brain that said, do like the guys and just walk in the building. The other part of my brain didn't know, made me stand up and start walking towards her. So I get up out my seat, And I start walking towards her. She takes her hand and her dress goes down. And then I see her eyes getting clear. And she's looking at me. Now she looks like she's afraid. This is true. She looked like she's afraid. I walk up to this woman and I said, hey, how are you doing today? Her voice changes. And she goes, I'm fine, ma'am. And I said, what's your name? And she was like, I'm Miss Matricia, ma'am. And she just kept addressing me as ma'am. She ended up telling me about her background, the churches that she went to, you know, how she was trying to get herself together. And just like that, there was a clear, coherent conversation between us two. The guys come back outside and they're standing there watching like this has never been done before. And she's talking to me like woman to woman. Okay? There's no crazy, there's no rubbing on herself. There's none of that. She's talking to me coherently, intelligently, clear. So by the time I'm done and I said, I want to see you again. You know, do you live around here? I come around a lot. I said, I would like to see you again. I would like to talk to you. She goes, yes, ma'am. And then she starts to walk up the street. I'm watching her walk up the street. By the time she crossed over the street, whatever was around her came right back. She went right back into cussing herself out. Right back to telling whatever cussing and feeling on herself and everything. But that moment that she stood in front of me, there was a whole different being. You have to be known in the astral realms, okay? That's the same thing that happened with Yeshua and some of our other ancestors. Tehuti, another one. They know his presence. Okay, so when he walked the earth, if there was something that was plaguing them, they automatically knew that they had to submit. Krishna as well. They automatically knew. So my level and what I'm doing in exorcism is not that. It's not that I'm going to cast you out. It's not that you need to go, you know, in the name of Jesus. I don't have to do that anymore. Now it's about reasoning. This is going to throw you off, okay? I understand this. I understand this. And these are concepts you probably never heard of before. And I know you probably haven't heard of them because I hadn't heard of them, okay? This is what I'm walking in. So this is my learning curve and what I'm getting better at, okay? So I'm realizing now I don't have to do that. I'm already known. And the purest of my soul that operates in that love automatically brings them into submission. Okay? I'm recognized and my light is potent because of my ability to transmute that negativity. Okay? You've heard stories. All of us have. You know, you thinking that, you know, demons are just born evil, that they're just evil embodiments. Okay? But for those of us who have been given clearance, who have been given the keys, okay? Those of you who have talked to these beings, okay? Scare and awe, all right? Those of us who have talked, you have to know, just like you have personalities, so do they. When you come across a wrathful spirit, there's a reason behind it. And you would be surprised if given the opportunity to transmute that energy and go into the light to get redemption, they will let that anger go and they will leave that vessel. I don't come at them aggressively anymore. I come at them with love and understanding. Why are you in this vessel? Chances are vengeance. A lot of times it's vengeance. A lot of times what you think is demonic possession is actually a disembodied spirit that did not go to the light, that did not cross over, that was hinted to you in that movie Stigmata. Okay? If you never saw the movie Stigmata, I urge you to go and watch it. Because some of our visions are so narrow. You think there's a cookie cutter answer for everything. It is not. Okay? You have to have a discerning eye to know what is what. In the movie Stigmata, there was a woman there that kept having the stigmata, the signs of stigmata. For those of you who are not in the know of what that is, it's supposed to be something to let people know that you were called. You carried the wounds of Christ. So what would happen is they would develop holes in their hands and in their feet as if a nail was going through it. And the priest would think that that was a gift, you know, to them. So when this woman was going through this stigmata, okay, she would float, she would levitate, she would have these holes appear. Some people thought it was holy, others thought it was demonic possession. All right, so you had Catholics and priests in there trying to cast out a demon. It wasn't a demon. It was a spirit of an ex-priest who had discovered the truth about life and needed to get it out through her. So their exorcism wasn't working because this was not a demon. Do you understand? You need to know that some people that cross over, that die, are not demons. They're disembodied spirits. These are spirits that refuse to go to the light, maybe out of fear. Maybe the way that they grew up, they thought that they were going to burn in hell forever. Maybe they died at the hands of something that they thought was unfair, and instead of going to the light and seeking vengeance, they want to do it themselves. And they'll find a weak host to carry out their plans. Murderers, things of that nature. They will find a weak host. I have talked to a lot of disagreeables, because that's what I call them. Okay, I know a lot of people refer to them as angels and demons. I refer to them as disagreeables. Okay, we have agreeables and we have disagreeables. And this is how I categorize them. The right hand and the left hand of God. Now, I want you to consider some things. Remember, even God in the Old Testament said, I create both good and evil. That's just in the Bible. Let's go way past that, okay? Especially those of you who have developed past that. Let's go past that. Let's deal with the Ein Sof. Let's deal with the absolute. Let's deal with emanations. So, say you have a 0 point of consciousness, okay? And let's say that consciousness is God. Let's say that every emotion that you can feel can be personified or is represented in a spiritual form, okay? Pay attention. So you have your good, your joy, your love, your peace, your beauty, all of that on one side. On the other side, you may have your anger, your resentment, your wrath, any type of emotion that a body or a consciousness can embody can become solidified, or I'm not going to say solidified, but condensed energy, okay, and may personify in that matter, okay? So you will have, the right hand and the left hand of God. Now, the right hand would typically be those beings who are coming to you to simply help you, assist you, love you, heal you, things that are good for you, things that help you evolutionize your consciousness, your thoughts, things of that nature. Okay, sorry, yes, I borrowed a fan to put behind me because I sweat so bad when I channel. I just do. I don't know, I just get hot. All right, so you'll have those groups. But then you'll have the left hand of God. Now, these are the ones that are representing the opposite polarity. Why they are both working for God is simply this. You who are of the light, okay? You who believe in harming none. You who are steadfast and only want to stay to the light side of things. What happens when you pray? What happens when you pray? When something is bothering you? When somebody is attacking you? When somebody's attacking your children and this, that, and the third? There's a team for that. Okay? The left hand. They take orders. All right? So who's going to have vengeance for you? Who's going to justify those actions? If you and your hands are clean, it has to get done. So who does it? The left hand side. Now, even when the left hand side is operating under those type of orders, okay? This is my daughter. Let's say this is God, the Most High. This is my daughter, okay? Consider my daughter. My daughter has been through this, that, and the third. My daughter is fulfilling her mission. My daughter is innocent. My daughter is pure in spirit. She is loving. Look at what's around her. The disagreeables go, we'll handle it. God will tell you, take your hands off of it. Vengeance is mine. And the reason why is because he has a team for that. We have laws for that. Okay? I'm never going to sit here and preach to be a doormat to anybody. I'm going to tell you to use the power of your mind and your words to get things done. We are mental alchemists. All right. There are things in place that are in place for your behalf, and it keeps you out of trouble if you don't know what you're doing. So now I have my agreeables and I have my disagreeables. And typically, if you're dealing with a possession, it is a disagreeable. All right. There's influences that we have, like the Holy Spirit. I technically could be considered a possession, but the reason why it's not considered a possession is because it does not take away your free will. Okay, that's the difference. A possessed person no longer has control. A person that has a Holy Spirit, or the Spirit of God, you still have control. You can keep it or you can lose it, depending on how your actions. But they'll never force you to do anything. It's just there for when you need it. If I need to heal, I can channel that energy. I can pull it from within. Okay? A possessed person, they don't have control over it. They're in and out. Okay? They're moody. They can't balance their emotional intelligence. They'll lash out. They'll do things and don't remember it. Okay? That's the difference between the two. So now, when I'm dealing with a body or a person or a situation that has an unclean spirit, I'm talking to that spirit now. I'm looking at you, but I'm going to talk to that spirit. And I'm going to use the greatest power that was ever given to me. Love. And chances are, I'm going to break that spirit. That spirit's going to leave. It's going to leave. And I don't have to put on a show to do it. Now, for the spirits that refuse to leave, they typically just leave my presence. I'll never see them again. But for the most part, I have not had that issue. I've not had that issue. I'm already recognized. So, if I'm looking at an unclean spirit and talking to an unclean spirit, and I'm keeping my purest light in my heart, they have nothing to get angry at. They have nothing to attack. You get me? So then they become defensive. Why are you here? What are you going to do to me? It's no longer a case of what it is that I'm going to do to you. It's why are you here? And what are you going to do to me? And me, all I'm going to do is ask, do you want a chance for redemption? Okay? Do you want mercy? Do you need help? What did you go through when you were on this earth? What? How were you hurt? Everybody hasn't healed. Everybody don't die in their healing. They don't. And some spirits die very, very, very angry. And when they die very angry, you will see it manifest in others. But what you have to do is know who you are and stand in that power. Now, remember when I said that certain teams are assigned to you based off of your walk? I'm not here giving you permission to do what I do. God will give you permission. No. If you are one who are trained to do that, you can do it. Okay? You just have to have the faith that you can do it. But on the flip side of that, if you are walking your walk and you're being told when you are confronted with negative energy or a dark energy or even a rebellious one, because some of the disagreeables might rebel against God, is not, this is not unheard of. It happens, right? It happens. We've seen it happen over and over and over again. Some of them get mad. Okay, they don't see things the way that the Most High sees things. They think they got a better idea. Okay, typically, like some of those are kind of babies. They think they have a better idea until they implement their idea, and God will allow them to implement their idea just so they can see that it fails. Right? So, once it fails, they have to go back to the drawing board. But if you are called to do this, and they know you, they will respect you. They will respect you because your team is going to be stronger behind you. And chances are the team is going to be like, look, either come with us or you don't want to know the or. You don't want to know the or. You know, you don't want to keep repeating cycles over and over and over again. If you are one who is not called to cast out or to remove negative spirits, and you're being told by God to call on Jesus, to call on Tehuti, to call on Krishna, to call on Shiva, to call on Hathor, or any of the, or Osiris. Osiris is another one. Sorry. Osiris is another one. I forgot about him. He can cast out demons too, right? Now, if you're being told that you need to call on somebody, do it. Okay? Because that means that you're not at the level to handle this right now. Okay? So you're going to need a powerhouse behind you. You're going to need that. Okay? They have a certain strength or a know-how that you don't. And you might get your tail handed to you. So I'm never saying that, bypass these systems. You're going to know if you were granted sovereign divinity or not. You're going to know. Because when you're faced with these things, you're going to know by the way that you handle it. All right? If it automatically goes to you to pray, pray. If it automatically comes to you to call an ascended master, call them. Okay? If it automatically comes to you that you can just talk and handle it yourself, do it. All right? But you must be confident and assured that this is what you're called to do. All right? Let's keep going. Okay. So, we want to get into understanding how these different realms work. What spirits are on the other side. Okay? Not all of it is what you think. Okay? There are disembodied spirits that are possessing people. Okay? Demonic possession typically happens when that person opens up and invokes them in. Most of the time, possessions are angry, disembodied spirits. Demonic possessions happen when somebody is open and invokes them into it. Okay? They have no control. They have no control. You'll know that. But you'll also know that if you are face to face with a disembodied spirit that's angry, you can reason with them, they'll leave. Once I get done reasoning, and then I call on an ascended master to open the portal, and they agree to take that soul back to school or back to training or recycle them. Who knows what they do after that? I'm told I have to mind my business. I'm too caring. Okay, I'm told, no, you're too forgiving. You're not cut out for this. So Sophie stays in her lane now, because Sophie will forgive somebody. He will forgive somebody. Like, oh, well, they can come back and lead. No, they can't. They've done this for eons and eons and eons, and you're still being fooled. So leave it alone. You know what I mean? So I don't deal with that. What happens beyond that? Okay, I leave it up to the people that can see. I'm on this realm. I'll leave it up to the people that's not on this realm, to handle that. And if the case is that I'm dealing with a demon, they never attack me. They automatically recognize me. And either they're telling me I'm here for a reason, or I've been given permission, or what do you want? What do you want? You're disrupting my plans right now. What do you want? Like, I'll get talked to like that. I just want to know what you're doing here. Why are you here? I'm here. I'm on this realm. So if you're on this realm, we need to know something. You need to let me know something. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to go. That type of thing. The power that we all have lines here and here. These are the major two things that we must protect at all costs. I don't let my right hand know what my left hand is doing. Okay? In other words, when I'm in business mode, when I'm in professional mode, nobody knows all of this. I'm just a smart girl. Right? I'm just professional. I'm just carrying on. But what goes on in my background? What goes on in the background, people don't know. What I see going on, I don't share. When it's time for me to, I will. But only with permission. If my team or the ancestors say this is not the place for that, I don't do it. If my ancestor or my team say this is the place for that, handle that in the bathroom with that person. Okay? Or pray over that person. or lay hands on that person, I will do that as well. If they're giving me permission to do it, it's because they have my back and they're protecting me from any liabilities or lawsuits or things like that. We have to be very careful in this day and age with what we're teaching, with what we're doing. You know what I mean? Some people don't recognize the names that I know. So would I go to a Christian and call on Tehuti? No. No. If I'm dealing with a Christian or Catholic, I'm going to call on who they resonate with. Yeshua. If I'm dealing with Egypt or Hindu or anything like that that's outside of that, and I know the ascended master that they deal with that can handle that, I will call on them for them. Okay? As long as they're on of the light. There's no one religion that's light and everybody else is dark. No. There's a lineage that goes across all religions that is of the light, and then the same of the dark. And they can come from various places of walk. They can come from various understandings, various cultures. But the one thing that they got together is they understand the Creator, their purpose, light, and truth. That's the Christos lineage that goes all the way back. So there is no one group that recognizes or resonates with the Christian lineage. That's another tactic of the enemy. To get you all broken up, okay? To get you all, one side against the other, getting you back into that duality mindset. Only we're the Christos lineage, but you're not. No. Stay away from ignorance. This is important during this time. Focus. They gave you, we gave you, our ancestors gave us these laws, all of this to signify one thing, the fruit. No good tree bears bad fruit. I don't care what the title is. I don't care what they're telling you they are. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the prestige. I don't care about the influence. If they're bearing bad fruit, stay away from them. They can have 20 mega churches. Look at the fruit. On the flip side of that, look at the homely person, the quiet person that's not saying too much. Look at their fruit. They might not be popular. Look at their fruits. That might be the person that you want to talk to, wants to deal with. Okay? Understand it? So, that's what we are going to be focusing on. Cross-culturally, cross-religious, cross-spiritual, scientific. Okay? You need to have the know-how to master 3 realms. Religion, spiritual, scientific. Okay? If you can see how all 3 of these connect, excuse me, if it's open to you to see how all 3 of these can harmonize, all right? That the people who are the scientists and the metaphysicians, they got the wisdom from where? They're not the enemy. They're not the opposite. They're not the opposite of God. Because you are a scientist, because you're in metaphysics, because you are in spirituality, does not mean that you're anti-God. Most of the time, that mind, that brilliant way of thinking comes from God. Okay? Understanding nature, elements, things like that. No beings would know it if it wasn't first introduced to by God. Let's be realistic. How are you going to know these things? Stop being afraid of every doggone thing. The one thing that you need to be afraid of is man's nature. How they use things. How they manipulate things. The nature behind a person is what you should be fearing, not the information, not the knowledge, the nature. Whether it's agreeable or disagreeable. You're going to know because how it influences your life. You're going to know that. Stop living in fear. We master these things. Okay? That's what you have to do. The person that is uniquely protected, the mental alchemist, understands that all things work for the greater good. Let's talk about something else, okay? Some of y'all are still on this twin flame journey. All right. For those who are dealing with the twin flame journey, don't be surprised if your twin flame is designed to complement you as opposed to being compatible. All right? There's going to be a level of compatibility. There is, right? But typically, your twin flame is designed to be the strength in the areas that you are weak and vice versa. You could have a rich person, okay? Wealth everywhere. Spiritually poor, wretched, broke. All right? Don't really know what to do with their money, splurging the things around, not making any difference, just living their own life. Okay, the rich person. And on the flip side of that, you might have a very poor person that's homely, but rich spiritually with the know-how, concepts, ideas, vision, imagination. What do you think would happen if those two got together? The one of the light with the ideas is going to enhance the wealth of the one with the money. Okay? The one with the money is going to enhance the vision of the one that is poor. Understand these things. Okay? Even with the areas of one being of the light and one being of the dark. God tries to pair you together. But you hear, two cannot walk unless they agree. So you know somebody's got to change. Right? Somebody's got to change. Now, typically, if you have a twin flame that is dark and you're of the light, it was given to you to try to assist that other one, to elevate them to where you are. However, because of free will, they don't have to go. And if they don't go and you stay, they can drag you down. All right? Y'all can be equally yoked. Y'all will walk together, but neither one of you will make it to the promise. All right? So, if you have a twin flame and you are of the light and that twin flame is of the dark and that twin flame decides to stay in the dark, what can you do with them? What are you going to do with them? But if you were called to that, then you were supposed to be stronger. You were supposed to be the influence. You weren't supposed to fail in that test. And if you did, if you couldn't convince them, okay, you can still pass, but you have to leave that situation alone. Okay? Unless you just want to go through the karmic journey with them. You can opt to do that. But chances are we get pulled in the opposite polarity to be an influence to the opposite polarity. If you are in that love and your souls is connected, when one ascends, the other one has to ascend. Kicking and screaming, they do. I know they do. Fighting. I don't want to do that. Well, that's just you. Okay. And then you leave the situation and now all of a sudden they get it. Yeah. That happens a lot too. Okay. So either you're going to be the powerhouse to take that relationship to another place, or you have to let it go. Your soul is yours. You must remember that. In this walk, the strong survives. Okay. Not the ego. The strength. The ego perishes. Pride always comes before the fall. Yeah? Okay. But if you're in this walk, you have to walk it like it does not matter who is watching you. It does not matter what people think about you. It does not matter. You have to stand and influence everybody around you, not you be influenced by everyone around you. If that's the case, you shouldn't have been called. All right? We have enough sheep. We don't have enough shepherds. And I need for you guys to be shepherds. You are the future. You are the leader. Okay? Remember the symbol of the Aquarian age. Man, and he's pouring water onto the earth. The symbolism behind that, that's the spirit. Okay? Masculine, the principle, balance. That's the age that we are in. Do you know that it was so many masculine suicides based off of antiquated thinking? I want you to consider this, divine feminines, while you're dealing with your relationship. What it would be like to be a man and being taught that you have to be the sole provider. You have to be the protector. You have to be the leader. You have to be the head of everything. You have to carry the weight of yourself and your family. You don't have permission to cry. You don't have permission to be vulnerable. You're embodying all of this emotion, and it's told to you that as a man, you can't release that. What do you think happens to men when they can't rise up to that bill? What happens to their minds? What happens when that man loses his job and now has to look his family in the face and say, we got to move? What happens to that ego? We're human. We're in a human form. Both genders carry emotions. God did not make one gender a robot that can carry on the weight of the world and the other one just soft and crying. If you want to get somewhere, masculines, you're going to have to deal with your emotions. If you weren't supposed to deal with them, you shouldn't have had them. The fact that you have emotions lets you know you have to deal with it. When we deal with this mass suicide with a lot of males, it's because of the pressure that society has put on them. That they alone have to carry the weight of their world. But there was a strong Ezra Connecto that was placed by their side to help them with this. Some men act like they don't need help, but you see it in their breakdown every single day. The moment you masculines get released some of that pride and that old taking that was damaging to your psyche, that you're alone has supposed to handle everything, the moment you release that and allow us to come in and help us balance this, your life will get a lot easier. If you don't believe what I'm saying and you're a praying man or you have any type of spirituality, ask your ancestors. Say, why was I equipped with emotions if I wasn't supposed to use it? Why was our women given this intelligence and this mind and this intuition if they weren't supposed to use it? How is my partner supposed to balance me in these things? When can I feel vulnerable? Likewise with you feminines. Some of you have that old belief too. And you're putting unnecessary pressure on your men. You are. And because they're already putting pressure on themselves, they definitely don't need it from us. If you have a man that works hard and he don't come straight home because he wants to go to the bar and bond with his boys and talk junk about you, let him. They talk about this all the time. We get together as sisters and we talk about them. They need that outlet. I'm not saying advocate for an alcoholic. No, that's a whole different program. I'm saying that some men need outlets. They need to unwind. They don't need to come home and we're all talking all the time. You know, so if they want to stop, pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose your battles. Okay? He come home at a decent hour, he's drunk. This is typically what I do. Here we go. Because one or two things are going to happen, guys. Either he's going to come home hungry, you know, or bothering you, or he thinks he has the right to hump you all night. Now, it's up to you. Or rather not, you want to take that type of abuse. Because some of it is abusive. You know, especially when it lasts long. You know, and you're like, I got to get up in about 2 hours. You know, we need to wrap this up. Okay? But if you have a violent man, if he comes home and he's abusive to you in any manner, he either needs to get help or you need to disconnect. Because there's something there that he's not dealing with. And you become the object of that. It's not fair to you, and it definitely isn't helping him. Do you understand? Be smart in this day and age. Okay? We love our masculines. Yeah. A lot of them are, still a little bit behind. It's okay. But we are here to nurture them and get rid of that toxic belief. Allow him to be vulnerable. If he can't be vulnerable with anybody else, he needs to be vulnerable with you. All right? And what that means to you is, if you finally get your man to open up and be vulnerable with you, that don't mean the next time you have an argument, you throw that up in his face. No matter what he tells you. All right? So I will be updating some things on the website. Now, I'm trying not to make it this long, but there were certain topics that I needed to get out as I'm being led to get out. Number one, there are more ascended masters, that is available to you according to your life that you can call on that can assist you with negative energy and casting out demons and all of that stuff, okay? Number two, you're going to have to, divine feminines, divine masculines. Divine masculines, you're going to have to face your emotions, okay? So that we can feel balanced, safe, and protected. If you want to be a leader, if you want your woman to follow you, then you have to clean yourself. You have to give her something to look up to. You do. Other than that, we're not really designed to follow anything blind. That's what makes it different between a man and a woman. We question. That's what intuitive natures do. So if you're leading me down a wrong path, I'm not following you. You're going to go by yourself. But if you're strong and you want to be a leader of your woman, make sure you're doing things correctly. She will naturally become submissive. She will naturally want to follow you. As long as you're going in the right direction. Okay? Don't exert your masculinity and think that, this is the way they're supposed to be because you have a penis and you're an idiot. That don't work. That don't work. We don't follow idiots. Okay? Don't think that just because you're a man, it gives you the right to control everything. No, it don't. Ladies, feminines, don't put unnecessary pressure on them. Try to get them to open up. Don't tease them if they cry. That pisses me off the most. Okay? If he's vulnerable, let him be. That means he feels safe with you. That should never be thrown in his face, ever. All right? You got this. I'll be updating the website with more laws and more things that, I've been given. And I might get to it today. I might get to it tomorrow. But, a few days, you will see some more entrance in there. And I am Sophie. Take the information that I've given you. Okay? Learn who you are. Okay? Don't strive to be like anybody else. Please don't. Okay? Because that's where spirits of envy and jealousy and all of that stuff start to come in when you're trying to be like somebody else. And the truth is, you are great on your own. And a lot of people don't get the chance to experience what their own gifts is and what their own power is because they're so busy focused on somebody else's. So you're minimizing yourself. And you don't need to minimize yourself. You need to be bold into the world. And you need to guard some stuff. I was so embarrassing, guys. I love you. I am Sophie, and I love you all. Have a good one. Bye-bye.